Welcome to Dark Docent. My name is Jake. Join me as I guide my friend James down the paranormal rabbit hole, attempting to prove the authenticity of a new case each week. Today's case, the Palmyra Wolfpack. How you doing today, James?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
Not bad, my friend.
What was your favorite Christmas gift that you got?
My brother got me a CM Punk shirt,
Okay.
a new one, and I'm pretty stoked on that because I'm a huge wrestling nerd. My wife also got me some new Doc Martens because apparently it's not good to have Doc Martens with several holes in them.
I saw them sitting upstairs. They look very fresh.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. What was your favorite Christmas gift?
My parents got me some new bedding for my bed. It's very warm and soft and comfortable.
Nice.
So that's definitely up there, I would say.
Nice. Well, both of those are fantastic gifts that we got. But you know what I think is even better and my favorite for all year long?
What's that?
Spreading the truth, motherfucker.
The truth.
The
You
truth.
can't handle the truth.
I know. That's why I had to take a break all December. But we're back and better than ever.
We're back. And you know what? 3-Eye Atlas just passed. It's the closest it was ever going to be to Earth. And that was it.
Yep, false alarm.
Here and gone. Who would have thought it was just a rock in space, turns out.
Distraction from the Epstein files, who?
I feel like internet conspiracy theorists, I guess we kind of fit in that boat now, in a way. We're the ones that made it a distraction, turns out.
We rarely talked about it, to be fair.
Brought it up at least 2 other times.
But we never made an episode on it.
No.
Also, I consider us a bit different than the other internet guys because we actually try to convey the most honest story.
Yeah, not like all the other frauds out there.
That's what they are.
Using AI and unverified sources.
I will stand by that. There's a lot of frauds out there. But, so far, we are not. Mostly because we haven't been paid a large sum of money yet.
No, like actually none.
We've lost a lot.
I'll say whatever if you pay me.
There you go. Perfect. Yeah, exactly.
But until then, I'm making it up on the spot.
I have a lot of integrity until I'm given a check.
Yeah.
Well, keep that in mind, James, because we haven't got that check yet. So today's story is going to be all truth, brother.
I can't wait to tell you what I really think.
I can't wait to either. And I can't wait to tell you the full honest story because this one is one of the most crazy modern paranormal stories that we got.
Hey, if I had a nickel for every time I heard that.
Yeah, and I got to say it again. No, it is not the Miami Mall aliens.
One day.
Sorry to disappoint, but I got a story for you. It is Memorial Day weekend, 2007, Palmyra, Maine. Eric Martin and his son, Sean, are walking around Eric's property. He lived on a rural farm with a large property with surrounding woods, but they weren't outside to enjoy the beautiful morning. They were investigating, and they were nervous that whatever was out there may still be watching them. But the night before, the homestead was attacked, not by people, but by a pack of ferocious monsters. As they search, they find claw marks all around the outside of the house and massive bipedal footprints surrounding the property. They seemed almost human at the heel end of the foot, but at the toe end, it formed into what looked like a clawed, dog-like toes. And there was one word that kept repeating in their heads, but neither wanted to say it. Werewolf. James, have you heard of the Palmyra Wolfpack?
I don't think so. I don't even know where That is. Is it in Pennsylvania?
I did say at the very beginning that it was in Maine. Those notes are working wonders for you.
I told you to repeat what you said, and you didn't.
I did!
You said Maine. Oh. Okay.
The state Maine.
Okay. Yes, I get that now. We have lots of logging roads around here, and they're all called, not all of them, some of them are called Maines. Jordan, Maine, for example. So I just heard Palmyra, Maine. I was like, I guess we're on a logging road.
I've never heard that. I'm not defending you here.
Starting off strong.
We're doing good. Well, James, no, it is in Palmyra, Maine.
Okay.
This story has gotten really popular on a lot of internet forums. A lot of podcasts have done episodes on the Palmyra Wolfpack, but it got especially popularized on the show Paranormal Witness, which we have brought up a few times on this show. They do good work, even though it is pretty dramatized, but that's more for entertainment features.
Right. One day, when we have a budget, we can entertain people too.
Right now, we're relying on our own skill, and that's going not well. But we still will try. So the story of the Palmyra Wolfpack starts all the way back in the mid-2000s. This is when the family called the Martin family had to move to Palmyra, Maine. This was due to the father, Eric. He had a very bad back injury at a paper mill he worked at for 20 years, and he was no longer able to work. So his wife, Shelley, got a job back in her hometown, Palmyra, and they moved back there. They also have a daughter named Chelsea, and Eric had a son named Sean. They're moving into this new home. It was an older farm. It was a massive property surrounded by woods, and the farmhouse looked old but charming. And actually, there is a photo of the farmhouse I can show you. That's the farmhouse with the barn, and the farmhouse is kind of beyond into the property a little deeper.
Looks very barny.
Yes, very old school.
Classic red.
Classic red. I don't know who was painted back then, but this is where this took place. Now, Eric was enamored by this place. He was an avid hunter, so he loved the fact that these woods were on massive acreage and he could just go hunt wherever he wanted. However, his wife Shelley was not fond of his hunting as much. And she had a rule. No guns in the house. Eric had to pack all his guns, put them in a barn inside a lockbox, and that's where he was supposed to keep them. Because, what's going to attack you on a rural farm, right? Shelley might soon regret this rule. Over the year, they said the house felt a bit strange, but not too much had gone on. Shelley and Eric began a tradition of every night they would go out on their porch and they would have coffee and look out into the woods. It's a nightly thing just to see how each other were doing. One of these nights, they noticed something strange in the woods. These strange pulsating lights that seemed to pulsate from the ground up. And they started to become a little more elaborate, dancing around a bit, making different patterns. And it was always just a white light. At first, I thought this could be like car lights. Roads far away, lights go up into the sky, it looks strange.
Yeah.
Back where I used to live when I was a kid, you'd see that all the time, and if anyone wasn't used to being out there, they thought aliens were landing in the woods. However, on this side of the property, there are no roads. It's forest, and then a large pond, and then massive woods beyond this. There's no roads for miles. What Eric thought is poachers had come onto his property. So his son, Sean, was there that night. So he said, we got to go investigate. If there are poachers, get them the hell off our property. So they go out into the woods. They got their flashlights. But something felt off in the pit of Eric's stomach. As they hit the tree line, the lights went out. Now, Eric said that this made him feel off, like something was baiting us out and then just stopped when we got close enough. They had a plan. Eric was going to stay put since he was injured and keep the flashlight out. Sean was going to turn his flashlight out and begin flanking around the woods. And then maybe he could see any shapes in the light and maybe flank anyone towards his dad. While this was happening, though, Eric had a very bad feeling. He's an avid hunter, used to being outdoors, not scared of the woods at all. But something was off, and he said he felt scared. And he felt that something was beside him. And he kept looking to his left. And he kept shining a flashlight over. And and there would always be nothing there. And it wasn't like a general, like, all around me, there's something weird watching me. He said, this one area, something is watching. But as the fear began to grow, Sean returned. And Sean said, I couldn't find anything. There's no footprints. There's no ripped up branches. There's no disturbances whatsoever. So we don't know what caused those lights. So Eric said, that's fine. Let's just get out of these woods. He still didn't feel like, he felt like something was off with these things.
Right.
After this was like in April, May, they did start noticing weird things around the house. Pieces of equipment in his barn would go missing. He would put nails out on a table and they would be gone the next day. Or a hammer would be missing that he put down. Another weird thing he started to notice that isn't brought up in a lot of the stories is he began seeing a ghost girl with braids in her hair. He'd see her in the loft in the house, sometimes in the barn, sometimes outside the window looking at him while he's in the kitchen. And no one else could see it. So they were worried about him that maybe his drugs were getting to him or pain meds or anything like that.
Yeah. Some weird stuff to start spewing.
Yeah. But one night, his wife got slapped on her feet in the middle of the night. And she was like, what the hell was that? And she got up and nothing was there. This is when they started feeling like something's weird in the house. But there's also weirdness outside the house, because we found even more strange stuff in the woods. Chelsea and her boyfriend Nathan were taking the dogs for a walk. And as they let the dogs off leash. And the dogs sprinted ahead, which is not like them. And they went and followed the dogs, and the dogs found a cavern, a strange hole in the ground. And when they inspected the hole, it looked like it was clawed open by hands. So we have strange lights, a strange cavern found.
Yep.
An apparent ghost girl.
And some feet slapping.
So these people are starting to feel uneasy. And this honestly kind of reminds me of something. I don't know if you know much about it, but Skinwalker Ranch. It seems like a lot smaller version of it, though.
Right.
Skinwalker Ranch had lights, UFOs, strange anomalies all around, ghosts, all of it.
Mm-hmm.
And this kind of seems like a scaled down version of that.
Well, when you first started with the lights, I did a quick little search, and they do have, it seems like 11 species of firefly in Maine. So my first thought was, okay, the lights, fireflies, easy, but then this other stuff I'm not too sure about.
These weren't firefly lights. They looked like pulsating, like large spotlights type of things in the woods. They weren't like little tiny lights.
Okay.
Like think of it like you're seeing like a rock concert from far away.
Right.
That's kind of what it looked like.
Okay.
This is just the outside stuff, James. This is the stuff no one brings up when they bring up this story. The real main event of this story happened on Memorial Day weekend. Memorial Day weekend, it's actually a strangely quiet holiday for them. Chelsea went to sleep, and Eric and Shelley are on their porch like they normally are. And one thing Eric pointed out is the night seemed unusually quiet. There was not a peep of anything. As they're talking, Eric said he began just blurring out what she was saying. Just sounded like garbled to him. And he was looking out onto his property. And he had that same feeling he had when him and Sean went into the woods. And he just grabbed Shelley by the arm. We have to go inside now. And she was like, what are you doing? What's your problem? And he's just like, we have to go inside now. I can't explain. We have to leave. And he's panicking. And apparently, according to Shelley, this is not like him at all. As they get up, though, Shelley's like, what are you doing? Why are you dragging me in? I don't want to go inside. And then all of a sudden, they hear something. Now, they both heard it. Eric looked at Shelley and said, shine your flashlight that direction. Now, they thought they would just see a small animal, something behind the fence. She shined her flashlight that way and saw 3 pairs of fluorescent yellow eyes. And they looked almost wolf-like until they stood up on their hind legs. These creatures stood at 7 to 8 feet tall, had a range of dark to light brown fur, eyes glowed yellow, short stubby tails, and they had a slight hunch behind the neck. As they're looking at these 3 behind the fence, they hear another rustling to their left. And they look over, and there's another one on the other side of the property. And they hear more rustling on the other side. They look over, there's another one on the other side of the property, slowly approaching the farmhouse. They were both terrified, and they grabbed each other and just ran right inside, slammed the door, and sat right down. Shelly, as soon as she sat down, took the flashlight and stuck it out the window, trying to see if she could see more. Eric responded by ripping her down to the floor and saying, "What are you doing? We don't want those things to see that we're in here." This ramped up really fast.
To say the least.
To say the least. I don't know how much you know about dogmen or werewolves.
What do I know about werewolves? There's a dude that has lycanthropy that when there's a full moon transforms into a wolf man. That's about it.
Okay.
Probably howls at the moon too, if I were to guess.
Okay. So the Wolfman full moon thing, that's more Hollywood.
Oh, I also know that they're not a fan of silver.
Yes, they're not a fan of silver bullets, or anything silver.
I think bullets is just the most convenient delivery method.
The way to do it from afar. Lots of Wolfman, we don't really know how they work. Lots of people relate it to the full moon. Lots of people relate it to a disease that randomly happens. They got to keep at bay. Lots of people say that maybe they are aware of their powers and they use it for bad, kind of like similar to what a skinwalker does, a person that transforms. But the thing is I don't know if these were werewolves or if they were dogmen.
The difference being
Dogmen don't transform.
they just are.
Yeah, they're just like wolf people.
Right.
It's like just like Bigfoot, but dog version.
But all okay.
And thing is I'm a bit iffy on dogmen. And the reason I'm iffy is
It's absurd.
here's the thing. On the outside of it, someone from your point of view,
Yeah.
someone who's not into the paranormal, it's absurd. A dogman? Werewolves are in movies, not in real life. Okay? As a man who is invested in the paranormal and cryptids and aliens and all this stuff, the part that weirds me out about the dogmen is how many sightings there are and how adamant the witnesses are that they're real. Way more than Bigfoot. Way more. Like, it's insane. Most of the people who have sent me evidence on this podcast has been dogman related cases. And most of the time, I can't see, hear anything of what they've sent me. The amount of people who are adamant that it's real, or the amount of people who are not paranormally inclined and say they've seen these things, is an outrageous number. To the point where I'm like, what's out there that's causing these sightings? And basically, like, what's the deal? What's happening that's causing this belief?
Why are there so many people that are confident that they've seen the Dogman
Yeah,
or something similar too?
yes. To give you an example of how adamant, almost aggressive the fans of dog people are, there was a guy back in 1986. There's a very famous dogman called the Michigan Dogman. And he wrote a song called The Legend and played it on the radio as an April Fool's joke. And it's basically him recounting all of the sightings. Some of them were made up. And he kind of like sung it over top of a very homemade song track. Do you want to hear the song?
I really do, yes.
I'll show you the song. This was in spring of 1987. My apologies, not 86.
Fact check live.
The song's called The Legend by Steve Cook, who was the local radio host in Michigan.
A cool summer morning in early June is when the legend began. At a nameless logging camp in Wexford County where the Manistee River ran. 11 lumberjacks near the Garland Swamp found an animal they thought was a dog. In a playful mood, they chased it around till it ran inside a hollow log. A logger named Johnson grabbed him a stick and poked around inside. Then the thing let out an unearthly scream and came out and stood upright. In 77, there were screams in the night near the village of Bel Air. Could have been a bobcat, could have been the wind. Nobody looked up there. So far this spring, no stories have appeared. Have the dogmen gone away? Have they disappeared? Soon enough, I guess we'll know, 'cause summer is almost here. And in this decade called the 80s, the 7th year is here. And somewhere in the North Woods darkness, a creature walks upright. And the best advice you may ever get is don't go out at night.
So, this song was released on April 1st of 1987. It was a joke song. The guy who made it was the radio host. He said it was a joke song. He was just doing it for fun. And he actually made up the whole every 7 years the sighting occurs. That's not true. And a lot of the legend of the Dogman actually comes from this, and lots of people try to use some of the sightings from this. There was like 3 or 4 in there that are actually completely made up. Some are real, some are like actual accounts, but most of them are made up. Now, he played that on his radio show, but during the next song he played, people called in furious and panicked. Like, no, this is real. You shouldn't be making fun of this. Like, hundreds of calls. His calls blew up the radio station.
It was a hilarious song.
It was. No, but people were like adamant that it was real. These are like all believers being like, you don't know what's in them woods. Like, they were like adamant and angry, and it caused an outrage. And then the song became popular in Michigan and was starting to get requested like every day. It actually became a hit in Michigan.
Did Art Bell ever make a statement about it?
About the Dogman?
About the song at the very least?
I'm not sure, but he does talk about Dogmen a lot.
Oh, okay.
Because there's a lot of sightings of Dogmen.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean by it. The belief is so strong. Try to find evidence. That's the part that bothers me. But back to the Palmyra Wolf case.
Yeah.
That's just kind of attached to it. The belief in them is so strong, but the evidence is lacking. And that's where I'm like, what are people seeing, if anything? And if there is this many, why are this many people making up stories?
Well, that would make sense if the Wolfmen were werewolves, because it'd be easy to hide.
That's true. That's definitely a part of it. Except just people are saying dogmen are different than werewolves. Some people say they are werewolves.
How would anyone know, though?
I don't know.
Is there like a description-based difference between them?
Not really. They're basically the same. It's just that the idea of a werewolf is a lot of Hollywood, like with the full moon and the silver and stuff like that. None of that's really confirmed. But, you know, stories of people transforming into wolf-like creatures go back thousands of years. You know, that infused with the skinwalker stories of the Navajo.
Yeah.
And Europeans talking about werewolves. It's all kind of fused around the central and eastern United States. But I'm very curious about dogmen, and that's why. Just the amount of people that say they're real. As they're lying on the floor, terrified of what's outside their house, Shelley realizes Chelsea's upstairs sleeping, and I have a lot of windows open right now. So she starts running around, slamming all the windows closed, and running out to check on Chelsea. And she shakes her awake. Like, get the hell up. And according to Chelsea, she woke up to her mom looking weirdly anxious and like wide-eyed. And like, what's wrong with mom? Her mom said, there are strange creatures outside and you gotta see these things. And Chelsea said, okay, that's fine. She got up in her groggy state and looked out the window and saw the pack of wolf-like creatures. Look, isn't that strange? What are those things? And apparently Chelsea replied with, cool, let me know what happens, and just went back to sleep.
Reasonable.
Shelley thinks that she was in her groggy state, didn't really realize what she was looking at, and didn't take a good enough look. But Shelley kept watching out the window after Chelsea went back to bed. And when she looked out, she saw that they all began to look up at the upstairs window. And one in the very center stood up at about 8 feet tall with its head raised, looking directly at her through the upstairs window.
That would be terrifying.
Now, Eric is downstairs while Shelley's upstairs, trying to make sure all the windows are closed, make sure the daughter's okay. And Eric is looking out. And the thing to know about Eric is he got injured, but he doesn't like the fact that he was. And right now he was going through a time where he was trying to prove that he could still do things. And he was looking out the window and judging if he could make it to his vehicle in time. So he's looking at the distance, and he said, the creatures are further out into the field right now. And I got a good 30 feet from the front door and about 20 feet from the porch to get to my truck.
Abandon the family? Drive out of there?
No. What he was thinking is that he could get to his truck and then drive it up to the porch, get everyone in the truck, and he could pull off as fast as he could. And he's just wondering if he could time it just in time.
Eric sounds like the first to die in a horror movie.
Yes, he does. But I understand him in his position. He's hurt. He wants to prove something. He feels like he wants to defend his family, but he can't. So it's a tough position to be in.
Well, we've had several cases where it's come down to defend the family in the house. Guns.
Yes.
You start blasting.
But his wife made him keep his guns in the barn.
Thank goodness for wives.
He was pretty pissed off about this. He brings that up all the time. If you reread the story several times, he brings up, like, if I just had a gun in my house. Eric kept his eye on them and opened the front door quietly. He began to hobble his way to the end of the porch. And he noticed that they're still not looking at him. So he thinks, I got 20 feet. If I can get there quiet enough, I can get into my truck and we can get out of here. So he starts hobbling. And he said, quote, it was the longest 20 feet of his life. He got around his truck. He begins fumbling with his keys when a light turns on right above him. His motion sensor was on. Right above his truck. Lit up the entire front of the house. And it startled him enough that he dropped his keys.
Ugh.
So now he's hobbled, and he's trying to reach down for his keys. And as he reaches down, he notices a reflection in the driver's side window of his truck. One of the creatures is right behind him. He turned and saw at the edge of the light a 7 to 8 foot tall creature, described just like his wife said, with the light to dark brown fur, yellow eyes, and the slight hunch of the neck. He said in that moment, he accepted that it was the end. But as the creature reached forward and the light touched its hand as it grabbed the fence, it pulled away really fast and darted. It seemed to not like the light. Now, he didn't want to risk anything else, and he just hobbled back as fast as he could to his house.
Yeah, get out of there. Count your blessings, get out.
Unfortunately, he left his keys outside. They weren't going anywhere. Eric got back inside to see Shelly with a pissed off look on her face. And she started reaming him out. You dumb son of a bitch. You went outside all by yourself, but even worse, you left the door open and it could have got in here and got us. How could you be so selfish? Stay inside. She's trying to get it through his head. He's very stubborn about wanting to do something.
Way to go, Eric.
Well, they had to figure out what can we do? What can we do now? We're stuck inside the house. Shelly, being smart, called 911. So she called them and said, hey, we're being attacked by something. It's outside our house. We're surrounded. We don't know what to do. Can we please get a police officer here? They thought at least the sirens and the lights would scare the creatures off and they could get out of there. Well, the operator kept asking, well, is it a bear? And they said, no, it's not a bear. Well, is it probably a wolf? No, it's not a wolf. It's something else. Well, it's probably a bear or a wolf. So, and they're trying to explain to this guy that it's not a bear or a wolf. It's something different.
It reminds me of the skin, not the skinwalker, the pale crawler episode with the phone call. What did you say it was, sir?
It was like a bird.
Did it have... You said it didn't have hair on it?
What's in the road? Not in the road, it's in my truck. Same sort of thing.
Have some urgency, lady.
I know. Shelly tried to explain that they're in danger and something's out there, we don't know what it is, and we would like an officer to come and help. The operator replied, just lock your doors and put all your heavy stuff in front of the doors and I'm sure it'll be fine. And then that was it. Nothing got sent out. Now they're like, I guess that's all we can do is lock our doors. they felt hopeless. Apparently, Shelly hung up and they were just looking at each other and they knew no one was coming. They didn't explicitly say that no one was coming, but they had a feeling no one's going to be sent out. But then it crosses Shelly's mind. She hadn't heard the dogs in a while. These were hunting dogs, and they went after the slightest thing that was outside. And as you've heard from my dogs, they go after everything.
Well, Puck, I walked in your place today. Your dog just looking at me. 20 seconds. Bark.
Yep. There it is.
That was incredible timing.
Yeah, exactly. They'll bark at anything. Shelly went to go look for them, and she heard like a scratching coming from the laundry room. She thought she forgot a window and one of these creatures was inside. She began walking towards the scratching, praying that it wasn't one of those things. And as she turned the corner, she sees her two dogs cowering behind the washing machine, and they won't move. And that's something consistent with other Dogman cases. Dogs want nothing to do with it.
They know they're not the alpha in this pack.
Exactly. Here's the thing. She left Eric alone again, and Eric had another idea.
Well, Eric's a thinking man, so let's see what he's doing this time.
So he saw that these creatures do not like the light. He knows that there's another motion sensor between the house and the barn, but he has to walk a good 20 feet before it turns on. I think you can see what he's trying to plan here. He's got to get those guns.
Gotta get those guns.
Even if it doesn't do anything, you at least feel safer.
I mean, yeah, you gotta do something. It's been, 5 whole minutes? You're running out of options.
Well, Eric thought that he could get out there quietly, hobble to the motion sensor, try to get it on, and then he could go to the barn.
All right, well, sorry, hold on a second here.
Yeah.
Hold on just a darn second.
Second isn't being held on to yet.
This whole thing kicked off with them shining the flashlights at these creatures.
Yes.
But you didn't say they ducked or hid or ran away from the flashlights?
They did bolt away from the flashlights.
Oh, they did?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, as they shined the flashlights out, after they did, they started to move away from the light.
Okay, sorry.
But they saw the fluorescent eyes from the light.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah. Sorry, I forgot to mention. They did, it wasn't like a fast bolt, but they got out of the way.
Yeah, okay.
And that same thing when they looked left and looked right, they saw them approaching, then back out of the way. He thought, I'm going to go out there and turn on this motion sensor. He opens the side door quietly and begins hobbling out into the black. He's waving his arms and just trying to get some sort of motion going. The light turns on. He can get to the barn. But then he hears a growling beside him. He looks to his left, and just outside of the light is one of the creatures. He hears some more growling to his right. Another one. He begins to look around, and he realizes he is completely surrounded in the black by these wolfman creatures.
And then the light clicks off.
Here's the thing. He knew he had about 25 seconds before that light shut off. If he left that light, it was going to turn off. So he had a choice. Go to the barn and get the guns?
Yeah.
Or go back to his house. While he's surrounded by 5 wolfmen.
Decisions. What would you do? Would you go for the guns or would you go back to the house?
I wouldn't have gone out to begin with, and I would have lied to my wife and kept one gun inside the house. I'm sorry, but I would. You have guns for protection. I'm sorry, but I have guns. It's like James. Let's say I had a gun, okay?
Okay.
For protection, I'm gonna keep it at your house up the road.
Okay.
That's dumb.
We're good for my protection.
Yeah, but not me. And it's my gun.
No.
So I just think I have a garden shed in my house. Would I keep the guns in the garden shed? No.
Hey,
Okay.
you don't have to explain it to me. We live in Canada, and you're lucky if you even get a gun. Not to mention get to ever see it.
This isn't a political statement. I'm just saying if you have a gun for protection, and there's wolfmen,
yeah,
it'd be nice to have one.
In this situation, it would be lovely to have probably a gun.
Yes. He looked at the options he had. He didn't think he could make it to the barn from where he was. But he was close enough to the house that he might be able to make that. And there was still a little bit of light touching the house, so maybe he can make it back without these things grabbing him. He looked at the creatures surrounding him. He looked at the barn. He looked back at the house. And he hobbled as fast as he could, because he can't walk that well, back to the house.
What a coward.
And he got back inside right as the motion sensor shut off the light. Now, Shelly comes downstairs and can't find Eric. Where is he? He's gone. And she turns around to see him coming through the side door, and she rings him out again. You were trying to go outside. She's trying to get this guy to understand that he's hurt and he can't do anything. And unfortunately, Eric is powerless, and he doesn't like the feeling. So they've come to the realization. There's no guns. No one's coming. What can we do? Lock down the house and pray for daylight. That seems to be the only thing that they don't like. So they moved furniture in front of the doors. They grabbed knives. They did what they could. And they locked themselves in the master bedroom. Of course, they grabbed Chelsea and pulled her out of bed. Chelsea started yelling at her, being like, no, you have to come now. You can't just blow this off now. And she pulled her out of bed and brought her to the master bedroom.
Where's Sean in all this?
Sean doesn't live with them.
Oh, right.
Sean lives separate.
Right.
So they lock themselves in the bedroom. As they're laying there, they can hear the growling right next to the side of the house. They begin to hear scratches along the side of the walls. And then they hear a loud thud. These creatures have jumped onto the porch roof. Shelly remembers seeing the shape of these creatures in the moonlight in the window as they passed by her window. This was the rest of the night. They just stayed up and prayed that these things wouldn't break through. Eric kept telling everyone that it was going to be fine. Trust me, we'll get out of this. But he said in other statements that he was fully accepting for the entire family to be killed that night. But he was just trying to keep everyone calm. The growling was getting louder. The scratching happening more and more. Wolves kept jumping on and off of the porch roof. And then the sun began to come up. And as soon as that happened, all of the creatures escaped the property, and they felt a few of them jump off the porch roof and run back to where they came from. And this is where we come back to the beginning of our story. They went outside, and they found several sets of bipedal footprints that looked half human, half wolf, surrounding the entire house. Claw marks all over the house. A lot of evidence that it was there. And I'm sure you want a picture of that.
You know me so well. Do you have a picture of it?
No.
How did I guess?
Not a single photo, not a single piece of the drywall or wood paneling or whatever the fuck was scratched. No.
You said what, this is 2007?
2007.
Okay.
Not a picture of a footprint, not a casting of a footprint. Absolutely nothing.
Perfect.
But we do have
witness testimony
and a drawing.
Yes. Can't wait to criticize the hell out of this.
Oh, you will.
Is it better or worse than Christopher's drawing? The fact you have to think about it says we're close, and I'm excited.
So the reason I say we're close is because you can obviously tell that Shelly is not an artist, but she puts a lot of detail in, and she puts a lot of description beside the creature, and she has a drawing of it facing the point of view, and also a side profile.
Ooh. The police lineup.
Yes. So here is Shelly Martin's sketches from the Palmyra Wolfpack in 2007. Feast your eyes.
Shelly, you silly goose. It's titled Shelly's Sketches. It is, like you say, both a side profile sketch and a head-on sketch. They're very poor drawings.
Not as bad as Chris.
Not as bad as Chris. Chris didn't even try.
One thing I will say is you can tell Shelly's obviously not an artist, but she is trying to put the description in.
She's trying. She, like, despite it looking horrible, there is detail in there.
Yeah, like, you know, I don't know. What's your artist level, James?
On what scale?
Like, if you could draw,
like
if you saw something
between like Christopher and Picasso.
Yeah, sure.
I was about to say I'm a bit of a Picasso. You've seen my art.
Yes, I have.
It's not realism.
I'd say you're a solid 5.5, 6. If you're big on Picasso to Christopher,
I'll take that, I guess.
Above average.
Yeah, I mean, and what you've seen is me do with my finger on my iPhone.
I love it. It's my favorite piece of art. My favorite series.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Patreon, for the $10 donation, I will doodle on your photo.
You send a photo into James, you get bonus episodes, and you get
A doodle.
a doodle.
I haven't described this at all. So the side profile picture is awful. It's a sketch of like a wolf head on just a body, but that body has incredibly thick thighs, incredibly thin ankles, and human feet with little claws on the end. It's got a little note beside that says long legs. Very obviously a dog wolf head on it. The arms are nothing to look at. And then a stub of a tail. Claws 2 inches. That's very specific. 2 inches past the toe. The head on is worse of a drawing, but it's a very humanoid sketch with very weird feet and another poor drawing of a dog wolf head, which I honestly could not do any better. It's hard to read some of the stuff she has written here. I do see the words glowing eyes, yellow, green, and lots of stuff that says did not notice or can't recall. It's a dog man. It's a humanoid figure with a dog head and claws.
Yeah. Now, with her saying, I can't remember, so I don't write this in.
Yep.
I find that something that gives it a little more credence.
Mhm.
As I said before, people that lie will usually fill in the blanks they don't remember. Like how when we went over the Kelly Hopkinsville case, one of the witnesses of the 11 people was known to be more of a bullshitter or an exaggerator. And when he did his witness drawing,
The carney.
he added in like small abs. He made the jaw more chiseled. He added a nose, which no one else could remember what looked like. Things that did not happen. However, when the mother, the matriarch of the family, saw it and she did her witness thing, it looked a lot more real and it had some few parts missing because she said, I could not remember it, so I don't want to give you a false advertisement of what it is.
Right.
So when someone says they don't remember certain parts, I appreciate that.
Yeah, like she didn't draw the hands on the head-on photo there, or sketch, I should say, not photo.
Yes. Eric stated that he saw the hands and that he saw massive claws on the hands.
Right.
But Shelley didn't see it, so she didn't draw it.
But there's not one photo of the house?
We have one photo of the house, and that's from the Google Maps photo I showed you.
Right.
And here's the thing, is this didn't get famous when it first happened. This became famous because, I forget the author, but someone wrote a book about strange encounters with creatures around the United States. And this was one of the stories. And it got popular from that. And then in 2015-ish, that's when Paranormal Witness did their show on it. And then it got even more popular.
Right.
So it got popular a lot more modern. And what that reminds me of is the driver T encountering the Pale Crawler earlier this year. That happened back in 2021. But the phone call was found this year. Some people encounter these things and they don't want anything to do with it. They leave it alone and they don't talk about it again.
Hope it goes away and that's that.
Here's the thing that also adds to the possible credence of this.
Mm-hmm.
You know how you always say, why don't they move? The family moved right after this. They didn't want to come back and they sold the house and left. They found somewhere else. And the person who bought it off them actually called into radio in 2014 reporting strange creatures around his property, and it was found to be the same property that the Martins owned back in 2007. So I don't know. And that's another thing with the Wolfman things, is all this stuff happens and people are so adamant that it's here, but people are also in so much disbelief that it's real they don't come out and say it. I don't believe the Martins were believers in the paranormal, but they encountered something weird and they didn't report it, and it became big because they brought their story to a writer and then they got big from there.
Yeah.
Or a writer found them. I don't know how it happened. But it's become popular over the last 10 years. And also, this has been requested by several people for us to do. And I don't know what to make of it. And I know it would be a strange one to bring to you, but I wanted to bring it to you.
Well, there's some strange stuff going on for sure.
Yes.
Why don't these werewolves like any light at all, even artificial light? Like sunlight in terms of like classic vampire type stuff, like okay, sunlight burns the skin, but like a porch light, I don't know. Scratches all over the house. I mean, you'd think wooden barn type house. I guess it could all be patched, but you'd think there'd be some nothing on there to this day to mark, at least a mark on there.
There has been some heavy restorations done since then.
These things are up to, upwards of 8 feet tall.
Lowest 7 feet, highest 8 feet.
They're probably kind of beefy. And there's like kind of scratching at the building. Okay, I guess. Cat does that at a door that's closed. You think they'd be easy to break in if they actually wanted to? I guess there's also probably light inside, obviously.
The thing is with dogmen.
They have the dog brains?
No. They're more human than you think.
Oh.
They have a personality to them. They like to intimidate. They like to mentally toy with people.
Mm-hmm.
This has been a consistent thing in dogman sightings, is they won't attack you outright first. They'll play with you. They'll scratch on your door. They'll poke at your tent. They'll smile at you while tearing apart a meal.
That kind of leads me into that theory I was going to give you here.
What's that?
Well, first of all, are we thinking more werewolf or dogman? You refer to dogman way more than werewolf, so I'm thinking you're thinking dogman.
I just think the term werewolf's been stigmatized to a fictional creature.
Right.
Dogmen are the cryptid, but they could be werewolves.
Okay, well, hear me out. What do we know about YMCA troops? They're groups of pranksters, right? They prank those guys at the Battle of Ape Canyon, throwing rocks at the cabin. Well, let's say there's a YMCA troop that got infected with lycanthropy.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're werewolves. There's probably still pranksters. They have personalities. There's a pack of them. This pack of YMCA werewolves is now pranking this family in Palmyra, Maine.
YWCA, Young Werewolves Christian Association.
Yes. Yes, of course. And then they take off because the prank's done. Haha. Scared them a bit. Maybe scared them a bit. That's really about it. Minimal damage, just like to that cabin.
Cabin was destroyed.
Yeah.
In that Ape Canyon. Like,
Funny,
it was literally knocked to bits.
Yes, funny prank, haha. That's all. That's as far as that theory went in my head there. A werewolf infected YMCA troop that's pulling pranks on this poor family.
Maybe. I don't know. And also, I don't know if the light really affected them or if they were just toying with them. Like, showing them that they're here and then running away. Because that would be more...
Seems like a little too playful.
That's the thing, is wolfmen are weird like that. They play with you every so often because they know they can get you when they want to. And then there's a few times where there has been reports of massacres reportedly done by wolfmen.
Okay.
It gets really deep with wolfmen.
I guess saying that they're more human than wolf puts a certain amount of unpredictability in with them, just like people.
Yeah.
Because part of me thinks, like, okay, they can get you when they want you. Why would they risk getting shot in a barn at night pranking these people as opposed to just staying away or getting them, right?
Another thing is it's a very good point, but also it was a few months that they were there before this happened.
Yeah.
Who knows that they weren't being watched or investigated? What if these things are werewolves? What if it is lycanthropy? You don't know which one is which. And maybe your mailman could come by and see how you do things, get talking with you. Your neighbor could talk with you. Who knows? We don't know.
Maybe the wife is a sick, twisted person. She's had enough of taking care of Buddy and his bad back. She knows the guns are not in the house. She knows a group of people who are werewolves. I don't know, man.
It's crazy. I knew that this would be a hard one for you with the Wolfman thing.
It's not one I've had to wrestle with yet.
I understand that the Wolfman thing is tough to deal with. But I do have a picture for you. Unrelated to the Palmyra Wolfpack, but from Maine. This is a track camera photo that was taken, I believe, in the mid-2000s. I don't have an exact date. Of an alleged possible Wolfman. Do you want to see that photo?
I do want to see this photo.
Feast your eyes.
Okay. It looks like a wolf. I'd say it's kind of upright at a bit of a 45-degree angle. Like it's just kind of jumped up on the front feet, popped up. The legs look a little bit weird.
A lot of people say that is just a wolf caught in a weird position.
It does look like a wolf caught in a weird position, like half hopping up on the front type thing.
But it also does look kind of strange. The limbs look a little off, although I think it could be a optical illusion of some kind. If there was a flash and the slight blur, maybe it can make things look weird.
Yeah.
The face weirds me out. That's for sure.
Yeah,
It's a creepy
it's
photo.
an unsettling photo, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's a creepy photo.
I didn't like looking at it.
No.
I would not want that on my trail cam, that's for sure.
Bet you weren't expecting a photo like this in a Wolfman case.
A wolf? Yeah, I know. I'm kind of wishing it was more man.
I understand. I think it's just an optical illusion of a wolf. That's
Yeah.
what I think. It does look weird, but I think there's possible explanations that could point it elsewhere.
Yeah.
Although, maybe it is. Wolfmen look like wolf/men, and the legs did look weird at the back. But
I think that was just like blurring because it's a photo at night.
I think
The
it's
dark?
inconclusive. I don't think you can prove anything or disprove anything from that.
Right.
But-
So now back to this family though.
Yes.
This was the only incident they ran into.
Yes, because they moved right after.
And then a family that moved in years later,
Mm.
2015 you said?
14 or 15.
14 or 15, said they had a similar incident, but there's nothing really on that.
A man named Justin called into a radio station saying that he experienced dogmen in his property, and it turned out that that property was the same property.
Right. Is this like a more widely seen thing in that same area? Or is this just kind of like an out of nowhere type thing in this location?
Legends of Wolfmen in Maine are very popular.
Yeah.
There's a lot of legends of Wolfmen in Maine. A lot of them in Michigan, a lot of them in Wisconsin, a lot of them like Minnesota. Lots of legends of Wolfmen. So the fact that there could be a pack isn't out of the question. This particular case of the Palmyra Wolfpack is very popular.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's unfortunate that there is a popular story of a wolf pack that has this incident that has no evidence
yes.
in a time that we did have more accessible cameras.
Yes.
Like the police not responding at all. That's crazy. The fact they didn't call back after they started attacking the house, because they called before they attacked the house.
Yes.
That's a little strange, I think. Like, try again. If you're out of options, then your options are to call the police again. That's your option.
Maybe they just felt hopeless. I don't know.
Eric sounded like he was full of hope. He was going out there 2 times with someone who could barely move. That's also...
I can't believe he went out there twice, according to the story. I can't believe he did it. I don't know, because I watched the episode on the Paranormal Witness.
Yeah.
One of my favorites. I love anytime they talk about a cryptid on Paranormal Witness. And the family was actually mad about that episode, because Paranormal Witness took a lot of liberties. Now, when I use shows like Paranormal Witness sometimes to help me investigate,
Yep.
I'm not stupid. I don't use the reenactments as the evidence. I try to listen to the words they're saying, and then kind of be like, okay, this is the story. Ignore the video part, and then I'll go and try to research again and see if I can find any more things that they've said verbatim. And they were mad about the episode, saying that they took too many liberties with the story. Saying that, it made it look more action movie, when they were like, no, this is like a story of we didn't know what to do. We were locked inside our house and these creatures were all around. We didn't know what to do. And again, the story got popular about 5 to 7 years after the alleged incident happened. So go back to try to find any evidence, you can't find much, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And they did sell their house after this, after they just moved in. And that's something we've had complaints about before, is why don't they move? These guys moved and they just bought the house. So I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I wasn't there.
There it is. It's a crazy story. And if anybody has any evidence of a dogman out there at all, if you're listening, if you have a picture, you have a track, you have anything, I want to see it. I've had people send me recordings of alleged growls. I've had people send me videos, but the video is just black. There's nothing there. I've had people send me pictures of a tree. I'm not even kidding. And, I really appreciate it. And I try to have an open mind when people send me these things. And, if people send me a story and stuff, I'll listen to you. Whether I believe you or not, that's up for me to decide. But I'll give you a chance to tell your story, and I'll look at it with an open mind.
Yeah, absolutely. Still send it in.
Yeah, I want to see it. It bothers me that there's this much evidence of this much sightings and encounters of dogmen, but there's zero evidence. There's even a conspiracy theory that dogmen, the boar call they do in The Land Between the Lakes, is actually a call to kill dogmen to keep the population down. That's a crazy one. Don't get into that too deep. That drives you nuts. But yeah, dogmen are nuts. I don't know what to make, and I'm sure some people might get mad at this episode because I don't know what to make of dogmen. And
If they're not mad yet, they will be.
they will be. But this won't be our first dogman case. I can guarantee you that.
Oh, I hope not. Like any one given case should not be a reflection of the cryptid as a whole, per se.
Mhm.
Whether it's Dogman or Bigfoot, this is a case by case discussion, I guess.
How are you feeling about the Martin story?
I think it's a little sus.
You think it's sus?
I think it's kind of sus. There's stuff that just doesn't add up for me, like I was saying before.
Yeah.
That is just hard to take at face value. Too many questions coming up in my head that obviously can't even be answered, really.
What's the biggest question for you?
It's probably a toss-up between, like, why not even take a photo of, like, if you're going to draw a sketch of the things, why not take a photo of damage to the house?
Yeah.
And also, like, why not call the police more than once and maybe make it a little more urgent so someone could actually get dispatched? I feel like more could have been done if something happened. I wasn't there. I don't know the situation, of course. La-di-da-di-da, but it's like, no one even showed up. They obviously didn't get the urgency across.
I think it stops at the operator. So, if they're trying to convince it and this operator's like, it's a bear, shut up.
Yeah, but I mean, like, there's more than one operator. You call back, you might get a different one.
Maybe.
Or you scream like, or lie. Say, there's people outside of my house.
That
like,
too.
lie.
Why would you think about that when you're getting attacked by werewolves? That's the whole other thinking.
I don't know, because you got nothing else to do. You can't leave the house. Come up with a fucking game plan.
I guess so.
They waited until daylight. I'm sure they could have thought, if telling them the truth didn't work, that's easy for me to say sitting in this basement suite with no dog man, but a couple of dogs going nuts around. But
And sometimes they're just as annoying.
And vicious.
Well, that's all I really got for you on the Palmyra Wolfpack. It's mostly just a great story and then some evidence surrounding it. Unfortunately, we don't have a 911 call recorded like we did with T and the Pale Crawler.
Yeah.
So I think if we had something like that, it would make it a lot more interesting. With that, would you like to go to conclusions?
Let us.
Let's do it. So today, James, on the case at the Palmyra Wolfpack, we have a family that was trapped inside their home for a night as a siege of werewolves attacked their home. Their story is convincing. They have a witness drawing with a lot of detail. And there are known Wolfman sightings in Maine. However, the lack of evidence is concerning. But this also took place 5 to 7 years before the story got popularized. And the family did move from the location right after this happened. And since then, people who have lived in the home reported dogman encounters. So on our scale, from 1 to 5, 1, I'm an idiot. 2, you're skeptical. 3, you're on the fence. 4, there's something strange here. 5, a family was attacked by a pack of werewolves. Where do you come down to today?
Today, Jake, on the case of the Palmyra, Maine werewolf attack, I come
Palmyra?
What's it called?
Palmyra. Palmyra.
What did I say?
Palmyra.
I didn't. You misheard me. Palmyra, Maine wolf pack. That happened on the Memorial Weekend of 2007. I come down to a 2.2.
2.2?
2.2.
Okay, so you're skeptical.
I'm pretty frickin' skeptical.
I understand. I am probably a solid 3.5.
Okay, you're above the fence again.
I'm a little above the fence. I'm 3.5 just because of the family selling the house, other people encountering alleged dogman sightings, the fact that they didn't come out with the story kind of found them, similar to T, the pale crawler guy. That makes me believe that maybe they did encounter something. Whether that's a wolf man, I'm not sure. Maybe they just saw big wolves.
That's kind of the only thing getting me above like a even lower rating.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, there's not much, in my opinion, there.
Again, with Dogman, it pisses me off that there's allegedly so many encounters and reports, but no evidence.
There's probably someone screaming to you like, "You missed this part!" Ah!
So if I miss anything, let me know. As always, politely. But I know. I think 2.2 is a fair judgment on your end. I think that's fine with no evidence, but the circumstances surrounding it. I think that's a fair judgment. Thank you for listening, everybody. I could not get James over the fence this week, but it's hard to do when you have slim to no evidence. Follow us on all of our socials, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok for case photos and updates. The link is in the description of every episode. If you enjoy what we're doing here, please rate and follow on Spotify, subscribe on YouTube, or wherever you listen to the podcast. It really goes a long way. Also, share with your friends. Word of mouth is the best advertisement, and it is free. And if I missed anything, or if you have an idea for another case, or if you have evidence from your own cases, you can email us at darkdocentpod@gmail.com. With that, James, any words to the wise?
If you live in Palmyra, the best advice I can give, don't go out at night.
Wise words from a wiser man from a good song. Thank you for listening, everybody. We'll see you on the next one.
Thank you. Bye-bye.